Hello, good afternoon, and a very warm welcome to the Dritte Liga today in southwest Germany for the match between Sandhausen and Rot-Weiss Essen. A game with pretty big implications in the battles for DFB Pokal qualification, promotion playoff qualification, and maybe even, after results earlier today, automatic promotion. The GP Stadion am Hartwald filling up nicely towards its capacity of around 15,500, about the same population as this small town, full of fans hoping to see something seismic in terms of the top of the table on this Saturday afternoon. Jens Keller makes 4 changes to his starting 11 after their painful loss in Duisburg. Sandhausen seeing the influx of Jojo Richardson, David Otto, Tim Maciejewski and Richard Meyer, who come in for Gidvanis, Muling, Pink and Elzain, who scored both his side's goals in the last meeting with Essen. Christoph Dabrowski feels no need to fix a side that clearly ain't broken after their 4-0 win against Ingolstadt last weekend. Still without a few players through injury though. Ekin Chilebi, Aaron Manu, Andreas Wiegel all injured. One of the season stars, Marvin Oberts, is expected to return next week. Captain Vinko Shapina may return this week, fit enough for a spot on the bench, where he's joined by some pretty established names in the squad. Zelensky Karuma, Dumboya, Isaiah Young and Eric Vufak, who's still waiting to make his return from injury. But the selected 22 now make their way out onto the pitch for a big afternoon in the southwestern German sunlight. It will be up at the top of the table in a couple of hours' time. Sandhausen come into the final 3 games with an outside shot of the DFB Pokal qualification, placed in 4th, 6 points behind their opponents today. Currently occupy it, and still a mathematical shot at least of the playoff promotion spot in 3rd, 9 points behind Preußen Münster, play tomorrow. And of course a very long shot, but a win would move them to within 3 points of 4th, so certainly plenty to play for. Arguably even more to play for Essen. Therefore obviously 3 points from 3rd place, and with all those around them losing their heads. In the matches earlier this afternoon, Jan Regensburg lost to bottom side Freiburg 3-1. Dresden lost again to Werl 1-0. So it is all to play for. See the referee there, Patrick Schwengers, with the 2 captains. He's a 4th official in one of Bayer Leverkusen's recent Bundesliga matches. Nothing really to say about the top of the Bundesliga table anymore, other than Leverkusen defying all expectations, potentially to become invincible. Which of these 2 sides will be invincible this afternoon? So of course the situation after those surprise results at the top of the table. Essen, yes, 3 points from Preußen Münster, who play tomorrow. Only 4 points though from Regensburg now. With a game in hand, they could move to within 1 point of an automatic qualification spot. Automatic promotion spot, rather. If they are to take all 3 points here. Home fans will be hoping that they won't be doing just that. They have aspirations of their own. Final moments, final preparations, final thoughts going through the players' minds. Coaches have done all they can. Now it's up to the players. Away fans in full voice as well. Plenty of travelling fans in red. Will they still be singing? In 90 minutes' time, referee blows the whistle. Away we go. Matchday 36 of the Dritte Liga. Sandhausen take on Rot-Weiss Essen in a battle for the various qualification spots at the top of the table. Sandhausen Sandhausen in the traditional white and black, shooting from right to left. As we watch on in this first 45, Rot-Weiss Essen in their traditional Rot and Weiss, red and white, looking to spoil the party in Sandhausen. It is the host, though, on the front foot initially. Opportunity to put the ball into the box for Jonas Vijk, which is headed away only as far as Patrick Greil. Sensational signing in January. He's already become their top scorer. His raking crossfield pass cut out, but it does nonetheless find a way to Luka Milan-Sander. Tried to flick it over his man. Promising first 60 seconds or so for Sandhausen. Look lively, look bright. Zander maybe opportunity to put the ball in again, turned it down. Back to Yassine Ben Balla. It's a nice ball forwards. Attempted flick through from David Otto. Doesn't quite come off. But I'm sure Jens Keller there will be happy with his side's first couple of minutes worth of football. So now looking to push up the pitch a bit and maybe get their first few touches of the ball. They've been firmly pinned back. Have to retreat again here though, because Sandhausen found their way past the high press. And now have their first corner. Goltz with a few words of advice for his defender. Don't want to be caught napping, get off really on the wrong foot here. Such a big game. Opportunity has opened up above them in the table. Got a couple of players down. Referee allowing play on. For now, he does now stop it. Let's go over to check. Likely a clash of heads. Didn't look to be too serious of one. I think both players were sat up by the time the game stopped. Indeed, both now back on their feet. Unless a clash of heads. We'll see from this angle. Maybe just an elbow, or either way. Just a few too many players into one there, didn't go. No damage done. And we are back underway. Back with Sandhausen again. Essen still haven't really touched the ball yet. Could have had the opportunity there. Lucas Bruma couldn't get that under control. It was fired at his man, and it's punched away by Jakob Goltz. Broken. Goltz also there for the follow-up shot. Was this time delivered in by Zander. Firm punch away. Fell slightly unkindly for Goltz. To the only man in white and black standing on the edge of the pitch, or on the edge of the area rather, Tim Maciejewski. And he could only fire it straight at the Essen keeper. Scored last weekend, Maciejewski, in the 3-1 loss. His third of the season, proving to be worth 0 points. It's been a disappointing few weeks for Sandhausen. A side surely aiming to bounce straight back to the second division after their relegation last campaign. They had a very up and down start to the campaign this season after a goalless draw on day one, and and an impressive cup win over Hanover via a penalty shootout. They beat Dynamo Dresden, the exception in a run of 6 wins from the Saxons' first 7 games. But that was the start of a run of form. The Red win-loss, win-loss, loss-win. All or nothing start to the season. Also beat Jan Regensburg at the end of that run. Mixed results continued for the rest of 2023, during which time they were understandably knocked out of the DFB Pokal by a certain Leverkusen, where they were level at 2-2 heading into the final 5 minutes, only for Xabi Alonso's potential invincibles to score 3 more in that time. That has become something of a specialty for them this season. Late winners, late equalisers. Extraordinary story there has been in the top flight. Yes, 2023 ended with 3 consecutive wins, then back-to-back losses. Still all very all or nothing. 2024, meanwhile, saw them go unbeaten for 6 games, push up the table, and after a 3-2 win over Dortmund in early April, they were beginning to look good bet for promotion. But 3 successive losses in the last few weeks. Such an important phase of the season as well. 4-1 against Saarbrücken, 2-1 against Armenia, surprisingly relegation candidate, and then 3-1 against Duisburg, who had their relegation confirmed yesterday. Sandhausen slipping up, and they really needed to push on. And as I said in the introduction before the game, still certainly plenty to play for. To do their first bit of defending here as Essen look to counter. Eisfeld given a helping hand out of the way. A few half-hearted appeals, I think, from the away fans. None really from Eisfeld himself. There was Sandro Legati breaking away and looking to play in. Eisfeld. Back in midfield by the visitors. Another attempted chip through ball, and some caught this time. Here we go. Cedric Hauenbrock over to takes it short, takes it quickly. Eisfeld lays it up. Back to Hauenbrock, back to Eisfeld. His cross blocks. Goes down. A few more appeals this time, not from the fans but the players. Nothing given, and now Sandhausen breaking away down the other end. Important backtracking from Sasha Volker. Speed as he got back to bail out his fellow defenders. Fellow defenders. Volker, despite wearing the number 2, is at least officially, according to the team sheet on the right wing. We'll see over the course of the afternoon exactly where he is set up in and what the setup is for Essen. Coaches do sometimes like to keep the opposition guessing, not put all their cards on the table. Decision goes Essen's way. A high boot in the eyes of referee Patrick Schwengers. Felix Gertz to take. Merzel didn't leave Velka with a lot of time. Closed down. He's back making a challenge in the right back position. He's now over on the left wing. Wingers might be inverting throughout the game. There's a popular approach in modern football. Keep the fullbacks guessing. Essen with a period of possession in their own third. They'll be pleased to just have put a few touches of the ball. Now looking to break forwards was Placati, running down something of a blind alley in the end. Merzel intercepted, diverted it onto the referee's left arm. Probably calls a handball against himself. It will be a drop ball. Spoke about how Sandhausen got to this position late in the campaign. Essen put together an incredible run of 6 successive victories late last year. That was in all competitions. Nonetheless, that helped push them up the table. They were fighting for the best of the rest behind what was looking like being a 2-horse race between Regensburg and Dresden. Astonishingly, neither of them will be the champions. That is Ulm, now confirmed as of a matter of minutes ago, full time in the earlier games. Regensburg losing 3-1, as mentioned, for Ulm. However, they didn't slip up. 2-0 win against Victoria Cologne. 2 goals in 5 second-half minutes. And it is SSV Ulm who are the champions of the Dritte Liga this season. Not overly of concern to these two. Sandhausen looking to get back on the front foot. Cross cleared away. Picked up again by Ben Baller, though. French midfielder back in the setup. Been a pretty consistent performer for Sandhausen this season. 3 goals, 1 assist, and this is 30th appearance. He's played most of his career in Germany, being born in Valenciennes in France. Came through the Lens Youth Academy. But after a few appearances for Amiens B team, moved initially to Zurich in Switzerland, and then 2017 to Germany and never left. Joined Sandhausen in the summer of last year. Placati involved again, has been involved quite a lot in Essen's rare attacks, as to be said in this opening quarter of an hour. Getting in front of his man, Jonas Weich, and winning a free kick. So plenty involved last weekend, scoring his first of the season. The opener in that 4-0 win. Just his 8th appearance. Rarely used. Straight away. 8th appearance becomes 9th appearance. Will first goal become second goal. It's well won in midfield. And the space on the left-hand side for Volker. Placati is coming in at the back. It's Taliano Vodic in the middle. Operation can't find his pass. Another opportunity for Volker. Sandhausen eventually do get it away. There's Kaiser with the throw. Placati muscled off the ball by Jonas Weich this time. One back by Goetze, ventures forwards, still going the centre-back. Almost breaks for Harenbrock. To knee it in the direction of the marauding defender. Bit of inadvertent showboating by Thomas Eisfeld. Flicked off his heel, then his back. Worked out. He's now bombing off down the right wing. Second half of the 1-2. Not produced by Placati, though, under too much pressure. Will be a Sandhausen throw. It's forwards from David Otto. Wrestling on the right-hand side. Decision goes the way of the away side. Niels Kaiser. And also a bit of 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. But the numbers erring on the side of Essen's favour. Eyes of the referee. Going back to Essen's season thus far, it was certainly partially due to those 6 successive wins, which was a world away from a very tough start to October when they lost 4-0 to Attacking and 5-0 to Verl, conceding 9 goals in 4 days. Saw what turned out to be permanent suspension of their captain, the armband being handed over to man on the bench today, Shapina. He had fallen back more towards those kind of unpredictable results over the winter. Produced a bizarre alternating run at the start of 2024. Loss, win, loss, win, loss, win, loss. Draw, loss, draw wasn't how they'd have wanted that run to end, but they've finally now returned to form at a crucial point, unbeaten in 10 across all competitions, 7 of them wins. And they make it 8. Header gathered up by Daniel Klein. Decent attempt. He's back to goal. Did well to hit the target. Daniel Klein. He's fairly inexperienced. Certainly this campaign in goal, it's normally been Nikolai Reinen. 27-year-old had been ever present until getting injured late in the game 2 weeks ago, which offered up a chance to 23-year-old Klein. His first duty of the season was to pick the ball out of the back of the net. After coming on to replace Reinen, conceding from the spot pretty much immediately, then conceded an own goal in the 86th minute in that 2-1 loss. No such worries there from Torben Musel's header. Last weekend wasn't much better. 3-1 loss to Loli Duisburg. Another penalty as well. Klein hoping for better here. He has survived the first 20 minutes. Goes a little quiet inside the stadium. Waiting for the spark to set this game alight. Currently, we approach the 20-minute mark. And a few decent attacks, but not quite clicking as yet for Essen. You'd probably argue are the more dangerous of the two sides. Certainly scored more. 57 in all coming into this round, which is the joint third most in the division. Surprisingly, second most is Victoria Cologne down in mid-table, just one more, so Essen could move back to joint second. They can score from this corner here. She's taken short again to the edge of the area. Musil cuts inside. Allows Vike to fly past him. The shot was Harenbrock's, but somewhat sliced from the number 8, not threatening Daniel Klein's goal. Now top scorer with 8 goals, Cedric Harenbrock. Also 5 assists, having picked up 1 of each in the 4-0 win last weekend. He's the only player in the squad to have appeared in every game, though 3 players have played more minutes than him. Invaluable though, either way, it is fair to say 8 goals, 5 assists. He and Marvin Oberts, clearly the most decisive players when it comes to producing goals, be it directly or through assists. Just slightly behind his injured counterpart in the total there. He's 13, beaten by the 16 of Oberts, 7 goals, 9 assists. Despite now missing 4 games, Marvin Oberts, they will hope he will be back in time for the last couple of weekends before he returns to FC Cologne, ends his loan, hopefully with promotion. Placati. Harenbrock. Bonic looks to turn away, create the space for a shot. Fell as he did get the shot away, but didn't get much further than a couple of yards before being dealt with by the Sandhausen backline. Bruma bombing on forwards, as he is prone to do on that left-hand side. Receive the ball from Verlka. Seems those two are almost interchangeable as left-back. Whoever is in the most defensive position when Sandhausen get the ball, bombs back to make it a 4-man defence again. Greil is down and seemingly in some pain. We'll see a replay of the incident here. It was Placati, I think, has grazed his studs down the calf shin of the Austrian. Looks like it's more than just a flesh wound then. Maybe with his foot planted, he's damaged the ankle. Home fans will hope this is going to be the end of the Austrians' game. As I mentioned a little earlier, a sensation since arriving in January. 7 goals already to move to the top of the Sandhausen scoring charts. Scored 4 and assisted 1 in 3 games around a month ago, though nothing in his last 2. Joined from SK Rapid on New Year's Day, having played just 5 times for the Austrian Bundesliga side, but hit the ground running here. Fortunately for him, hit by a running Sandro Placati. Jens Keller returns to his seat as his top scorer returns to his feet. Bit of a limp as he heads for the sidelines, but hopefully no signs of substitution in the offing. And Greil will be good to continue. It's over a quarter of the way through this game. One stat will come to an end for Sandhausen. They'd been shown a card in the opening 20 minutes of their last 2 home matches. That one there, I'm sure, fine with coming to an end. one they'd like to keep going will be that they've scored the opening goal of the game in their last 10 home games. So they start quickly, one way or another, fair to say. No bookings earlier on here. The first goal of the game still up for grabs. Too much on an attempted pass by Vonic. Kaiser does very well to find a teammate there under pressure. Rios Alonso tries to help it on its way. It's back with Sandhausen. First touch since coming back on for Greil. It's a decent one. Moving a little gingerly, but looks like he will be fine. Picked up by Jojo Richardson, rather. So good they named him twice. This is just his third appearance, though. The young American, 22, had played just 46 minutes before this game. He's having doubled his tally already. Looking to get his first assist of the season there. Number 7. Often you see number 7 so sparingly used. Number 17, David Otto. Currently being shown. Has been used far more by Jens Keller. Also trying to bring it down and keep it in. Did the first, didn't do the second. So Jakob Goltz with the goal kick. Cheered on by the away fans. Behind him to his right. He'll be coming at him from his left though. It's given away. Essen still not really at their best. Almost half an hour on the clock. A long way from the side. To produce that 4-0 thrashing around a week ago. Velka giving away a free kick. Opportunity for Patrick Greil to whip one into the box, potentially. Players line up on the edge of the Essen box. Into a dangerous area. It's well held by Jakob Goltz. The 25-year-old keeper had also been ever present this season until missing a couple of games through injury. 1860 Munich and Regensburg games. 37 appearances last season. Looks set to match that this campaign. Goltz, the son of Richard Goltz, once played as a goalkeeper for Hamburg and Freiburg. Felix Goetze there, also with famous footballing family. Of course, brother to World Cup winner Mario. Not just World Cup winner, as part of the team. Scored the winning goal, of course, in stoppage time of that famous 2014 final. Felix, the younger brother, would have been about 15 as that goal went in. Third brother, Fabian, also professional footballer. Something in the blood in the Goetze family tree. Yes, and centre-back's been picking up far more yellow cards than goals this season. 11 yellows, 1 red as well. Just the 1 goal against Dresden. Nicely worked from left to right and a bit of space for Nils Kaiser to run into. Legatti, nice feed. How can he pick out the pass? Uses a safer option of Lucas Bruma. Top by Eisfeld. Bruma continues his run. Receives the ball. Belka. To throw deep in Sandhausen territory. Held up by Vonic. Whipped in by Bruma over everybody. It is brought down, rather impressively so, by Nils Kaiser. Throw on the opposite side of the pitch, but it will go the way of Sandhausen. Harenbrock dropped deep to get involved. Hit out left. Some debate as to whether the clearance of Felix Gertlicher was a corner or a throw. It will seemingly be a throw. Some uncertainty for Harenbrock by the time he got to the ball. To invite the Sandhausen players out, create themselves some space in the opposition half in which to work, but home side aren't obliging, happy to sit back and hold firm in their defensive setup. All 11 behind the ball. Nearly broke through for Vonic. He would have been offside anyway. Little isolated in this first half, the Croatian. 20 years old, joined from Nuremberg 2 in the summer, where he scored an incredible 22 in 17 appearances last campaign. It took a long time to find the net for Essen, though, finally doing so in his 12th appearance in all competitions. Found form in late January, early February. 2 goals and 3 assists in 6 games. And nothing again until scoring 2 in his last 3. Very up and down season for Vonic. So much an up and down season as an up and down moment. Thomas Eisfeld. Battling for the ball, landing a bit awkwardly. That right ankle will be checked over by the medical team, which gives Krzysztof Dabrowski pause for thought. This looks to be some discomfort. If it will be an enforced change here. Coming together with Yasin Ben-Bala. Eisfeld back on his feet, holding the right ankle. Doesn't look all that comfortable. No hard feelings between the two. Try and soldier on for now, see if he can survive the final 10 minutes and see how it fares over the 15-minute break. Maybe allow his manager more thought out change to the setup if required. Vonic returns it to Sandhausen sportingly, and we are back underway for the final 10. Patrick Grau dropping very deep. Almost back in a left-back role. Was number 10 in a 4-2-3-1 on the team sheet. He's a fairly diverse player in terms of his abilities, but surprised to see him effectively in the back line. Sandhausen could do with a goal here. Yeah. After a promising start, falling back a bit now. Dropping deeper, seeing less of the ball. Inviting Essen on. And if you invite Essen forwards, you do quite often end up conceding. Wayside looking to play it out from the back. Gold's nearly played into trouble. So he was closed down rapidly by the Sandhausen press. Bugatti wins a free kick. Well, his, along with Niels Kaiser and Sascha Volker's recovery has been symbolic of that of their team as well, really. Three of the players very much in the second string up until called upon due to those recent injuries. And they've been playing really well in the last few weeks, as one of them is sent tumbling by Felix Göttlicher. Volker knocking the ball past the Sandhausen centre-back and then promptly wiped out. Göttlicher went down holding his face. It was only from a flailing hand from the man, which he unceremoniously bundled over. It doesn't stop him getting the game's first booking. Not in the first 20 minutes though, so that stat does still come to an end, or at least is amended a little. Now, as for the first goal of the home game stat, that'd be about to come to an end as well, with an Essen free kick in a fairly dangerous position. Not too many in red and white in the middle, 3 or 4. They did show up in numbers. Ran in from outside the area. Be able to get their head on the ball, but it's forward now to Goetze. He looks to knock it past Tim Nipping. Went down expecting the free kick, a few afters between the two, at least verbally. There was a little contact. Nipping at the heels of Goetze, or maybe the toes. The Sandhausen captain clearly thinking that Goetze made a lot of it. To spend a few seconds sitting on the turf is Jonas Weich. It's been a stop-start. Last 10 or 15 minutes, a bit scrappy. A bit tetchy as well between the two sets of players at times. Yes, going back to symbolic recovery of Kaiser, Volker, Bugatti. Their coach, Dabrowski, said he was thrilled with the input that you've brought into the team. You can also see that they've come into a well-embedded group that really works. And that has been what has been working for Essen in that strong run, that 10-game unbeaten run. It's also seen them into the final of the Lower Rhine Cup. Something they're Opponents can also boast. Sandhausen in the final of the Baden Cup. Potential chance snuffed out by the resilient Sandhausen defence, trying to do a little too much, and now home side looking to break. Appeals from both. Well, first it was Felix Goetzer upset, and then it was Richard Meyer. It is going to be an Essen goal kick. Yes, Sandhausen will take on FC Mulhausen. Battle of the Hausens in 3 weeks' time. Baden Cup final. As for the Lower Rhine Cup, Essen will take on Oberhausen. So Hausens all round, aside from Rot-Weiss Essen, to add a trophy to their cabinet, which does have some silverware from years gone by. Divisional championship in the 50s, even lifted the DFB Pokal in 1953, the national championship in 55, became the first German side to qualify for the European Cup. There's some history in Essen. Golden years coming in the 50s, certainly. Also 10-time winners of the Lower Rhine Cup, though. Last year, looking to make it back-to-back triumphs and number 11. For now, though, very much focused on the prize in hand and the prize in the league. Potential promotion to the second tier of German football, which, if there was a chance, when they woke up this morning, has been upgraded to a strong chance. After those losses above them, Regensburg have to watch on and see how Preußen Münster do tomorrow. Had some emphatic wins in that run of 10 unbeaten, including 7 victories. 4-0 against Dortmund, 4-1 in the derby with Duisburg, and of course 4-0 last time out against Ingolstadt as well. Yeah, being made to wait here. Closing in on half-time, still with the deadlock unbroken. Get a late twist to the first half. Shot from outside the area. It's gathered up by Daniel Klein. Vonich looking to create himself the space. I think, catching the defender a little uncomfortably. Nothing permanent. Into the final minute. Is there time for one more clear-cut chance for either side? Could certainly go either way. Both sides look capable of opening the scoring here. Just been lacking the finishing touch in front of goal, be it the killer ball or the clinical finish. Sensible forwards, and that's well worked. On goes Volker. That's just agonizingly through the Sandhausen area. No one getting on the end of it. Splitting both defense and attack. 4 minutes of additional time. As we added on, there is certainly still time for one more clear-cut chance. That was a half chance. potentially, which came to nothing ultimately for Volker. It's Essen coming on a little stronger in the final stages of the first period. Still looking to retain the ball wherever possible though. Reus Alonso taking the safe option back to Goltz rather than playing the ball forwards. Got Taron Brock. It's ultimately kicked straight out of play though after all that. Nipping. Back to Klein. Send it into the Essen half. Doesn't quite manage it, but it is still with Sandhausen on the left-hand side. Like with the throw. Patrick Grail can push on. Dangerous looking ball, but it just ran on a little too quickly for the two runners. Both potentially could have found themselves in on goal. Otto and Maciejewski. I think potentially now both content to play through to half-time, survive through on level terms, look to analyse the first half and potentially switch some things up and come back fighting in the second and final 45. Not two teams who know each other particularly well, just the second ever meeting, perhaps surprisingly, between the pair. Previous, of course, coming in the reverse fixture back in December. Despite having played out their careers, their histories, the two clubs in and around similar leagues, rarely crossing paths. And here, potentially, is our final clear-cut chance. No, the offside flag goes up. Just as Sasha Volker looks to head into the Sandhausen area. Yeah, that reverse fixture back in December didn't get going until the second half either. As mentioned, Abubekir El Zain, who is currently watching on from the bench, scoring 2 in the second half for the visitors on that day. Ron Belinsky grabbing one back late on, but too late rather, for Essen. So currently a 100% record for SVS. Can they keep it today? They'll have to show a little more in the second half if they want to. Will they even be on level terms when they come back? No, but only just by the skin of their teeth. Save initially, and it fell for Placati. Fired it into the outside of the upright with the final action of the half. Half-time whistle goes. Placati still on the floor. Late scare for the home side, but they do survive to go down the tunnel on level terms. See that replay now. Velka forcing the save from Daniel Klein. And then Sandro Placati waiting patiently for the ball to drop. But it wouldn't drop in. So, 0-0 at half-time, still all to play for in this battle for promotion, potentially, certainly for qualification of various levels between Sandhausen and Essen. welcome back to Southwest Germany for the second half of this Dritte Liga match between Sandhausen and Rot-Weiss Essen. Goalless at the halfway point. The two sides figuring each other out, the game bubbling over, or simmering at least, never quite reaching boiling point. Will that change in the second half? There's plenty to play for. Many of those above them and around them in the table have slipped up early this afternoon. Dresden losing, Regensburg losing. Essen could move to within 1 point of second place with a win here. Genuinely hunt for automatic promotion. Sandhausen with an outside shot of the promotion playoff spot. A better chance of a top 4 spot. DFB Pokal qualification, but as the pyrotechnics go off in the stands, will there be fireworks on the pitch? Certainly more so than we saw in the first half, now that we are back underway. Essen have won just one of their last 5 league away games. However, Sandhausen have won just one of theirs in their last 5 home or away. Perhaps that's the issue here. Two sides unfamiliar with that winning feeling, respectively, away and in general. Sandro Placati looking in a bit of pain there, and not sure if something happened off the ball. But it looks like it might be the end of his game. Surprising to see him sent off, maybe, or subbed off. He'd been sent back on less than 2 minutes ago. On in his place, seemingly will come Isaiah Young. Maybe it was a test. Little niggle that he could feel during half-time. See how it played out once he got back up to full match speed. And the answer clearly, it was too much to continue with. So off comes Placati and some fresh legs, and the first substitution of the game. On comes Isaiah Young. Face off against a fellow young US international. Isaiah Young, Berlin born, but that is Berlin in New Jersey. Made 12 appearances for the US under-19s and under-20s. Has been one of the most consistently used members of the Essen attacking setup. This is 35th appearance. Played in all but one match at some point. Notched up 5 goals along the way, grabbed his 5th against Dortmund in mid-March, but nothing since. Rusty touches that over the head of Sandhausen's resident American, Jojo Richardson, who has now officially played more minutes in this game than he had in the entire season up to this point. 49 minutes here, 46 minutes across the previous 35 match days. Looks solid enough in midfield, Richardson. Kept things ticking over. Starting the game the brighter, Sandhausen have probably been the more cautious there on in. Perhaps aware of danger posed by an Essen side unbeaten in 10 across all competitions. They're looking to create some threat of their own here. Shot was deflected, I think, and will be out for a corner. Finding some space on the edge of the area, David Otto. And it will be Patrick Greil over to take, set piece specialist. He's been scoring more in his time at Sandhausen, but can lay it on a plate for a teammate as well. He do so here, it's towards the back post. Flicked on and away by Goetze. Aaron Brock defending the right-hand side for Essen, but it's worked through nonetheless. Shot was from Richardson. It was closed down. All the way back to Klein to start again. Given away, and Musil brings it on. Last-ditch tackle from Tim Nipping. It's a very well-timed one. Such a well-timed first touch from Jonas Vijk. Somewhat slows down a potential counter. Spreads it right. Only finds Lucas Bruma. Bruma in turn only finds Maciejewski. Down on the edge of the area is Otto. This is very much in direct free kick territory. Just outside the box, maybe a little too close if you're being fussy. Well, the ball though in the hands of Jakob Goltz. I'm not entirely sure what's happened there because the Essen players weren't happy. I think they also thought it was going to be a free kick. We'll see a replay here. Oh, it was taken quickly. We didn't even see it. Off camera. Played through quickly for Yassin Ben Balla, who fired his shot over. And that's the goal kick. A nice idea from Sandhausen, but one that wasn't executed as well as it was formulated. Aaron Brock smartly wins a throw. With promotion potentially back on the cards for Essen, they've been planning in terms of personnel for the coming season. It's been announced that Björn Rota will no longer be at the club next season, and Ron Belinsky also expect to be moved on. Does make it to the bench, unlike some this week. Rota there as well. But according to who's in charge, they're planning on moving on with Vonic and Dumbuya. Also watching on from the bench currently, the Ghanaian. They'd like to bring in another striker. But Krzysztof Dabrowski saying in the press conference, we told Ron that things could be difficult for him in the future. You never know how things will change. But yes, it does appear that Belinsky and Rota will move on in the summer. No decision yet made for Isaiah Young, apparently. Velka, Kaiser, Placati can expect an extension after their impressive return to first 11 play when given the opportunity. Goetze and Harenbrock are also supposed to stay, but it's Essen waiting for their commitment. Ball in from Thomas Eisfeld. It's dealt with. Sandhausen rather trapped in a corner. That's very nicely done by Luca Milan-Zander to break free. And then does all that work by giving it away. Doesn't exactly hurry back to his post at right back. It's forwards from Vonic. Young's first touch was all or nothing. Would have been through on goal, but that would have been all. It was in fact nothing. Blocked off and sent all the way back to his keeper, ultimately by Sandhausen. In terms of incomings for Essen, rumours of trails leading to Hanover. 2 reported players on the wish list, Lars Gindorf and Tom Moustier. Gindorf, the captain of the 96ers. Scored over 20 goals from attacking midfield this campaign. Moustier, a defensive midfielder, who involved in 10 goals as well. Appeals from Essen. 2 players currently down on the turf on the left-hand side. Notably, Lucas Bruma, who is signaling for a substitution. Well, he looks in some pain, and that would be a sad end to what's been an excellent campaign for Bruma. One of the summer signings, one that has really excelled. Holding right hamstring, it certainly is going to be a change. Joined from Wien Wiesbaden in the summer on a 1-year contract after a trial in the summer. Became an integral part of the team at fullback. Initially a Welker caught. It's a straight-up collision with Luca Milan-Zander, and the Sandhausen fullback a yellow card, but unfortunately, and the Essen fullback a trip potentially to the medical centre. Just hip on hip, it looked like collision. It's clearly knocked something out of place for the 24-year-old. He will continue on next season. That was announced earlier this season. Contract automatically extended when he reached app number 21. This number 33 now. 2 goals and 5 assists along the way from left back. But those numbers, I think, will all still read that come the end of the season, sadly. Helped off by 2 medics and looks set to be replaced in an attacking change by Ron Belinsky. Left back off, number 9, literally and figuratively coming on. Linka Shapina as well, seemingly the captain, will make his return from injury. We'll see who he replaces. Free kick was dealt with by the time we cut back. And now it's Sandhausen looking to break away on the counter. Nicely weighted ball from Jojo Richardson. And it's through to Maciejewski. But Young tracking back and doing his defensive duties. Of course, 1 man down momentarily, Essen. Sandhausen looking to make the most of it. That time is now up. Thomas Eisfeld is the other man to make way for Belinsky and Shapina. So a straight swap. Shapina for Eisfeld. Yeah, certainly attacking. And a change of shape, presumably. Lucas Bruma, as much as he likes to get down that left-hand side, replaced by an out-and-out striker in Belinsky, playing presumably, judging by the press conference a couple of days ago, for one of the final times for Essen. Any parting gifts on the way? Wow, it was nearly the wrong kind of gift for, at least from an Essen perspective. Header in, well saved by Jakob Goltz. It was whipped in flicked on, I think, by David Otto. Great reactions though from Goltz. Keep his side on level terms. Greil to take again. This from the right-hand side. Again finds Sandhausen head. It was Tim nipping this time, but rather falling away from goal. And the ball fading away from Goltz's goal. One immediately back. Better spell of play here for Sandhausen as we into the final half an hour, and the volley is a beauty. Well, Otto came within centimetres and some quick reactions from Goltz moments ago, but this time the keeper couldn't do anything as David Otto volleyed home and opened the scoring. We had to wait over an hour, but it was worth the wait. Beauty from the Sandhausen midfielder. And will another of the top 5 in the Dritte fluff their lines when given the opportunity to close in on the promotion spots. Essen fall behind. Wonderfully taken. Both feet off the floor. A strut from Otto. And rightly so. Now, how can Essen respond? They know the opportunity that's ahead of them here. They will remain fourth, whatever happens elsewhere. Preußen Münster just above them, playing Saarbrücken, currently in 7th. In the first game tomorrow, Saarbrücken 4 points back from Essen. Won't be able to nick that 4th place off them. Dynamo already missed the opportunity. Hour closed in. They're still 2 behind. Sandhausen, as mentioned, in the live standings will displace Saarbrücken in 7th. Move to within 3 of Essen if they can hold on to win here. Within 3 points of 4th, they could start to dream of a DFB Pokal place. Watch on with hope that Preußen Münster come away pointless tomorrow, even if that means Saarbrücken will move back above them. Long way to go though, still half an hour to play. Anything can happen. I think we will see more happen now in this final half an hour, with the spark finally provided by David Otto. Nico Schapina, not the immediate impact he'd have wanted. Captain brought on. The side immediately fall behind. Inventive flick from Merzel is gathered up by Klein. Well, it was an attacking change from Krzysztof Dabrowski to bring on Balinski for the injured Bruma. But maybe a little light in defence. They were caught out by a touch of class from Otto. And patience growing as Daniel Klein takes his time. We will see Sandhausen not overly hurrying to get play back underway whenever they have the opportunity now. Hard fought lead that they have gained against the side on an impressive unbeaten run. Looking to push things on. Has been a great choice as captain. There was some debate at the start of the season. New signing, brought in, immediately given the armband. There were other options. It's forward to Young. This will be shepherded out, but I think it did take a touch. Nobody spotted it, if it did. Off Luca Milan-Zander. Might have got away with one there. So it was just deceptive from this camera angle. Yes, Shapina becoming captain after Felix Bastian's release. After that catastrophic 4 days where they conceded 9 and scored none. Captain's armband hasn't always been a good omen at Essen. Before Bastian's, Dennis Grota and Daniel Davari were also released whilst captain. But for Shapina, who currently finds Volker, all been going to plan so far. Only game he had missed this season was the 5-0 loss to Vel. Club he joined from during the summer, so I'm sure mixed feelings there. That was the case for a long time, but was then injured for the whole of February. Scored his 3rd of the season against Duisburg just under a month ago, but then missed the last 3 weekends. Finally back on the pitch here for the second half, the final third of the game. But seeing his side immediately fall behind. You have to be careful as well. On 4 yellow cards, 1 away from a suspension. Won't want to miss either of the 2 remaining games. Certainly winnable, the remaining 2. Home to 1860 and away to Lübeck. Long since relegated. Nothing left to fight for them. But they did come up with an astonishing 5-3 win, which confirmed Duisburg as a fellow 4th tier team yesterday. Shapina to send it out to Young. It's helped on its way. And we'll find the American nonetheless. Cuts back onto that right foot, looks to head into the edge of the area. Just about a toe to the ball, importantly so from Zander. Sandhausen look to break away again. Free kick goes the way of Felix Goetze. Essen can turn this around. Essen, at least on paper, is their trickiest fixture of the remaining 3. With the form of those above them looking so unreliable. This is a golden opportunity, but one which currently they are letting slip through their fingers. Regensburg have a trickier final fixture against Saarbrücken. Victoria Cologne before that as well. Of course, lost to the champions today. Just about cut out by Jonas Weich. He missed it at the first attempt and allowed Harenbrock to get in. But there's a mistake at the back, and will it be pounced upon here? He's in on goal, and it is pounced upon. Tim Maciejewski makes it 2. Well, the kind of mistakes you can't afford to make. You're looking to grab an automatic promotion spot, has to be clinical. Essen haven't been that today, and they are paying the price. Sandhausen go 2 to the good with 20 minutes remaining. Maciejewski scored his 3rd of the season last week, grabs his 4th today. And it was just a piece of miscontrol And then a slip from Sasha Volka. Not one he'll want to watch back, desperately trying to get back and make amends. But Maciejewski too quick and too clinical in front of goal, dinking it over Jakob Goltz. And now Essen with it all to do. Jens Keller knows how much this win could mean to his side. How high could they be in the standings if they hadn't slipped up so badly themselves in the last couple of weeks? Really dropping the ball. They got themselves into such a good position to then lose to a side on the brink of relegation, and one since been confirmed to drop down to the 4th tier. Which is how football goes sometimes. You lose the matches you should win. They now find themselves 2-0 up in one on paper they should have struggled to win. 4th place side, unbeaten in 10. Another change is the response from Krzysztof Dabrowski. Musa Dumbuya ready to come on. He will replace Leonardo Vonic, straight swap. And also Mustafa Karuma making his way on as well. Fresh legs at both ends of the field. Dumbuya will look to reduce the deficit, maybe turn this one around. Karuma will look to prevent Sandhausen getting any further into the distance. Space on the left for Volka. Can he make amends in a different way? Well, cross was a little over the hit, but the referee had already blown either way. It's because there will be a change, a double change as well for Sandhausen. One move made by the manager red will be mirrored by the home head coach. Off comes Richard Meyer to be replaced by number 36, Sebastian Stolzer. Midfielder, 29-year-old, reliable, presumably coming on to shore things up a little. Experienced head. It's Maciejewski again on the edge of the area, causing problems. This time, lesser problems. Goetze high up the pitch as well now. He's being used as an auxiliary striker. Desperate times. These are desperate measures for Essen in the final quarter of an hour. Really not overly thinking about goal difference. They need the points. That's nicely worked. Good play by Dumbuya. It's going to be worked through. The final pass from Belinsky was to nobody. At least nobody on his side. Daniel Klein finding the ball at his feet. All 5 changes made. Final throw of the dice from Krzysztof Dabrowski. That most recent double change. Jojo Richardson, the second man to make way for Sandhausen, replaced by Marcus Pink. One who was dropped to the bench in those 4 changes made to the starting 11 by Jens Keller. Confirmation that it was Kaiser who made way for Karuma. could find ourselves with an entertaining final 15 here. Essen looking more stretched, and here comes Maciejewski again. His ball into the middle. It's picked out, but headed over. Well, Stolzer brought on to put away those kind of chances with that aforementioned experience. Free header at the back post, all the time in the world. Just put a little too much on it. Centimetres over. But in truth, it probably should have hit the target. Will they now be punished for that miss? Dealt with by nipping. Perhaps surprisingly, those are the first two changes made by Jens Keller. Really pleased with what he saw. All 5 Essen changes had been made by the time Sandhausen made their first one. Volker towards the back post. Acrobatic attempt from Demboya. Referee had blown, I think, for offside rather than any kind of dangerous high boot. See the linesman's flag there. Well, Stolzer could have very easily grabbed his 3rd goal of the campaign. Marcus Pink, another Austrian, now to go along with Patrick Greil. He scored 4 in just 14 appearances. Another excellent January signing along with his fellow Austrian. Brought in as a free agent after leaving Shanghai Port, surprisingly in China. Can't win the header. Look how much space there is here for Sandhausen as they break into the Essen half. Of course, not rushing things. Maciejewski slows it down. As long as they have the ball, they will have their 2-goal lead still intact. Essen to push forward, expend energy, trying to win the ball back and hand it to them on a plate. As Stolzer suffers the commentator's curse there, immediately handing over possession to Essen. Can Volker cut inside, redeem himself? He holds on to possession, gets it back, gives it back to Dorman Musil. Shot from range is wide. Messiah Young trying his luck. Essen's luck hasn't been in today. Just bouncing. Got underneath it. Time is beginning to run out. If they want at least 1 point here, they'll have to score soon. In truth, they really wanted the 3. That would have allowed them to truly capitalise and close in on the automatic promotion spot in order to ensure that they don't themselves in a position to potentially miss out on their shot at the promotion playoff spot, because Preußen Münster could stretch their advantage if they win tomorrow. 3 points to the good already. He could move 6 points clear and pretty much guarantee themselves 3rd spot if Essen fails to turn this around and they win tomorrow. Would, of course, leave them above Regensburg as well, into an automatic spot themselves. So it is Essen having to defend against a 3rd. Appeals for handball. Ball is in the net, but the referee had blown, presumably for said handball. Certainly struck a hand of a Sandhausen player. Karima, Rios Alonso. A back three now, with the idea presumably for the fullbacks to push on up the pitch. You could see that when it was confirmed as Kaiser, the man to make way for Rios Alonso. Young will be operating as an almost fullback. Shapina dropping back, as you can see there, to add to the defensive ranks, but there's so much space again, and there's Maciejewski, and that's just wide. Fizzing past the near post. Nearly doubles his tally. Increases his sides to 3. Just curling away on its way towards Goltz's goal. Still, good couple of weeks for Tim Maciejewski after an at times frustrating campaign up to this point. And watched on 3 previous games, now scored 2 in 2. Only played one half against Duisburg. Appeals for a penalty from the crowd. Demboy going down. If there was contact with Klein, it wasn't enough for the referee. Shake of the head from Dabrowski. Number of appeals from other members of his technical staff. Finding his way past Tim Nipping, the captain. He certainly got to the ball first. There is no VAR to check, so the decision is that it is said and done. I think it's fair to say that Demboy was looking for the penalty there. Not sure how much contact there was. He rather stamped into the ground and bundled over Klein, but certainly got to the ball first. One that could easily be debated either way, I think. Fouled in the Sandhausen half. This decision they do get. Maybe the pressure of promotion has got to Essen. Musil sends it to Shapina. His header back. It's going to eventually drop for Musil again. Cleared more thoroughly at the second attempt by Sandhausen. Lovely piece of control from Jakob Goltz to pluck it out of the sky. Demboya pulls it back for Young. The header allowed to bounce out. A little miscommunication between Klein and his defender. Both leaving it for each other. The spin taking it out. Here's that moment again. Demboya extends a leg out. From this camera angle, almost impossible to tell if there was genuine contact between Demboya and Klein. That angle, not much better. We now have a Sandhausen player down. As we tick towards the final 5. Aaron Brock waits patiently to take the corner. Yes, Essen and promotion. As I said, when they came back from the winter break, they had games in hand and were in a position to close in on the top 2. Looking like they could easily make the promotion playoff spot their own and chase after the top 2, who subsequently, well, in the case of Dresden, capitulated. In the case of Regensburg, fell off slightly and now risk losing their top 2 spot, depending on how the Preußen Münster game goes tomorrow, as Yassin Ben Balla is escorted to the sidelines. Sandhausen will now be a man light for this corner. Aaron whips it in, doesn't beat the front man though. Karuma looking to knock it on, but only knocks it out of play. That's rather how things have gone for Essen over the course of this afternoon. Just not quite on the same wavelength. As on comes another layer of reinforcement in there. And number 5, Schuster. Leon Schuster, another Austrian, replaces the injured Ben Balla. Yeah, Essen really dropped the ball on that return from the winter break with the opportunity to move up the table and close in on promotion there. And such a good spell recently, and maybe they would have been better off playing before those results earlier today. The pressure applied, the opportunity there to be taken, but they have failed to do so. Looking to return to the second tier of German football for the first time since the mid-2000s. Back-to-back relegations in 2007, 2008 saw them drop to the 4th tier. Experience they also had to endure in the late 90s. They ended a 14-year spell in the 4th tier with promotion season before last, having got closer and closer in recent years. 3rd in 2020, 2nd in 2021, finally champions in 22. Another cross from Maciejewski is dealt with. Things don't get worse still, at least. Late on for Essen. They might struggle now to make it to that promotion playoff spot, but it's still, it must be said, a big improvement on their showing last campaign. They were a little too close to comfort for the relegation zone. Ended up 15th, kept up by their ability to play out a draw. 15 in all, the most in the league. Just 9 wins was the joint second lowest tally. That particular demographic. Ironically, they've only drawn 7 this campaign, which looks set to still be the case after their 36th game. That is the second lowest. Well, the 3rd lowest behind Hallescher and Dynamo Dresden. Both on just 5. Spin of the ball, taking it away from Maciejewski. Karuma robbed of the ball by Stolzer. It's going to break through. Is it number 3? No, it's a big save from Goltz. Could have done with that earlier on. Could have absolutely ensured they leave with all 3 points here. Still looks pretty safe, but will Essen push on after that reminder of what their keeper can do and look to make the most at the other end of the pitch? Harrenbrock. Shapina shapes for a shot. Thinks better of it in the end. And he ends up giving the ball away. Just delayed. Make up his mind. Into the 90th minute now. Goltz has to send it long. Hope for the best. Zimboya, one way or another, brings it down to Belinsky. Zimboya sets up Young. His shot rather floats into the arms of Daniel Klein, who is closing in on his first clean sheet for Sandhausen. As I said, a tough start to life between the sticks after replacing Nikolai Reinen. Conceding twice as the game was turned around a couple of weeks ago than the 3-1 loss to Duisburg, but this would be a real confidence boost for him heading into the final stages of the season, if he is to remain, depending how long Reinen will be out for. Yellow card handed out to Den Boer, who caught Jonas Vijk. Not the impact that Broski would have hoped his Ghanaian forward would have on the game. So in the end, that stat was extended. Sandhausen scoring the opening goal now in their last 11 home games. And the second a little later, cementing them into a big win over a side in form. Now they look to push on and make miraculous jump up into the top 4, maybe even the top 3. That would require an almighty turnaround. Spoke about Essen's summer plans in the transfer market. There is one deal already done, by the way. Gianluca Svajkovski, part of the professional squad from next season. Announced on Friday, under 19 prospect, signed a new contract. But for Sandhausen, there is also one deal already done. Well, they need it as they look for number 3 here. It was the leg of Goltz again, as Pink looked to apply salt to the wound that kept the deficit at 2. Yes, the first new signing for the coming season, presented on Friday. On Friday, rather, is Emmanuel Iwe, 23-year-old Nigerian, a winger. Most recently played for Minnesota United in the MLS. But on comes a legend around these parts, Dennis Dickmeyer, the 34-year-old captain. Another announcement, but just before the weekend, that he would be hanging up his boots at the end of the season after over 400 games as a professional. Almost 200 of those in his 8 years for Hamburg. Not too many fewer than that, around 150 now with Sandhausen, having joined in 2019. A player in German football folklore, held the record for the Bundesliga player with the most appearances without ever scoring, until finally doing so in his 11th season at the age of 30 in 2020. A feat which Sandhausen celebrated by offering free printing of his name and number on their replica kits. There is that number and name. And it's not all been kind of laughing at his expense. He has been an excellent player. He was in the team of the season at the end of that campaign in 2019-20. Goals aren't really what he's all about. Has given the ball away there, though. Essen will look to capitalise, but well held by Klein, not giving up on that clean sheet in the final minute. Isaiah Young not getting enough on the shot either to truly threaten the keeper. So yes, perhaps unsurprisingly, no goals or assists this season for Diekmeyer in his now 25 appearances after the late cameo here. But Sandhausen finishing the way he'd have hoped they would under his tenure as captain. A win over Essen. And maybe they can climb further in the final 2 weeks. Final pair of matches. They will take on Waldorf Again, pretty winnable. And then Ingolstadt on the final day. Who knows? Maybe they'll be fighting for a top 4 spot. So the 95 minutes are up. Job done for Sandhausen. Daniel Klein will send this long, and the referee will blow his whistle. Full time. And Sandhausen, having survived a wave of attacks in the first half, took their chance when it came. It did come on the hour mark. David Otto with a beautiful volley to finally break the deadlock. And within 10 minutes, Tim Maciejewski had doubled the lead. Krzysztof Dabrowski and his side missed the opportunity to close in on the automatic promotion spots. They'll remain 4th, but could slip 6 points behind Preußen Münster. They will be 4 points behind Regensburg. Now, whatever happens going into the final 2 games. Sandhausen, though, move up all the way to 7th and can dream, perhaps, of a qualification for the DFB Pokal, and really, really dream, maybe, of a top 3 spot. Either way, 2-0 on the day, excellent performance, and the win for Sandhausen.